Activision has been pushing out the Call of Duty franchise on almost a yearly basis since 2003.
For Mother Russia, comrades! Do not turn your back on her!
And ever since, we've been treated to different flavors of each game through a variety of trailers. But notice how these game trailers have gradually shifted from action-based in-game footage to showcasing more of the cinematic cutscenes that actually have nothing to do with the gameplay. And it's not just Call of Duty. You've got Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy 15, No Man's Sky, and almost every other game trailer you can think of. You can see it clearly that game trailers nowadays are becoming more and more about cutscenes, scripted sequences, cinematic shots, and even featured segments which are often not present in the game. I'm not just talking about trailers that are titled as cinematic trailers, but even ones labeled as gameplay trailers have hardly anything in them that can be actually called gameplay itself. For the gaming community, game trailers have a massive impact on what the players will choose to buy, or even continue to play. As per survey by Google, 60% of gamers watch trailers of the games that they would like to purchase. And the real surprising thing about this figure is that it doesn't even matter if it's one of the upcoming games, or if it has already been released in the market. To really understand the impact of game trailers today, you need to first understand how they have evolved so far. In the early 90s, game trailers were pretty straightforward. They were essentially just clips of gameplay with minimal editing or special effects. Games like Duke Nukem 3D had trailers that showcased what the game would actually look like. Then as we moved into the late 90s and early 2000s, technology advanced rapidly. Developers began to realize the power of creating an emotional connection, and more importantly, internet hype, around the game through these trailers. The Halo 2 trailer is a prime example. It wasn't just gameplay footage, it was a cinematic experience, full of high-quality CGI and epic music.
Respect. What the hell sort of reinforcement have you got?
This era marked a shift from simply showing the game toward creating a more narrative-based experience that left a long-lasting effect on game trailers, one that you can still see today. By the mid-2000s, game trailers became increasingly polished and overly cinematic. And ever since then, almost every trailer, even the so-called gameplay trailers, have been shifting toward a more unrealistic approach to present the game. Video game trailers, much like movie trailers, have one fine job to do, and that is to show what the person will be actually getting. But unlike the movie trailers, in which we are presented with scenes from the actual movie itself, game trailers have shifted towards a hyper-realistic cinematic experience, instead of actually showing the gameplay. And that is because of two major reasons: bullshotting and vertical slices. Let me explain. Bullshotting basically means using high-end PCs and special techniques to make a game look way better in the trailer than it will on your average gaming setup. It has always been like this. You watch a trailer for a game and it looks absolutely stunning. Crazy graphics, super realistic textures, and lighting effects. But when you actually play the game, the visuals aren't quite as breathtaking as you saw in the trailer. That's what bullshotting, in a nutshell, is. Mix these bullshots up with some perfect visual effects such as light bloom and color grading, and you get a trailer so good and ready to be marketed, no matter what the actual gameplay may look like. And creating these visual effects is relatively simple, using editing tools like Premiere or After Effects. I hope you still remember the Watch Dogs trailer from 2012, cause I do. It showed these mind-blowingly realistic graphics with detailed cityscapes and impressive lighting effects. But when the game was actually released, the visuals were toned down to fit the capabilities of regular consoles. The difference wasn't because the game was bad, it just wasn't as visually stunning as the trailer had led us to believe. However, there's always a risk that not all of these effects will make it into the final version of the game. Very similar to this is vertical slicing, a technique which almost every game trailer and even the movie trailers use, and have always been using. A vertical slice is a polished segment of the game designed specifically for the use in trailers. This segment is often a self-contained level or scene that includes a variety of elements like graphics, gameplay mechanics, and audio. You can think of it as a movie-like trailer of the game. And as easy as it may seem, creating a vertical slice involves a hell of a lot more careful planning and resources. Selecting a portion that best represents its core features, tweaking the graphics, optimizing performance, and refining gameplay to ensure everything works flawlessly are just a few of these. The result of all this work is a segment that looks and plays exceptionally well, often far better than the rest of the game, at least in its early stages. You need to understand that vertical slice serves more important purpose than just cinematic segments. For one, it helps generate excitement and the much needed hype for the advertising of the game and its studios. A well-crafted vertical slice is easily capable of making the game a hot topic of conversation, which then drives further pre-orders, all serving as a marketing tool for the companies. But still, the main reason behind using such techniques is not just the hype, but more importantly, funding and the investment. Investors and publishers are more likely to put money in a project when they can see a concrete example of its potential. Also, without a trailer to generate buzz, developers risk losing out on crucial early sales and funding. This is especially critical for large AAA game studios, where the stakes are particularly high compared to indie developers. But you may ask, why go through all this trouble when you can simply take clips from the actual game? The reality is that game trailers are almost always created while the game is a work in progress. Crafting a trailer often takes weeks or even months, and because games are often still being developed up to and beyond the release date, trailers are frequently made from older versions of the game. When creating a trailer for a game that is not yet finished, it's common for entire sections of the game to be missing, or incomplete, especially if it's early in development. It's also possible the game might not be optimized for performance yet, artwork may still be in progress, and significant changes could still be underway. As a result, the trailer you see often shows a game that's quite different from the final product that hits the shelves. Which brings us to our next point. Pre-rendered footage. Pre-rendering is creating high-quality images or video clips using the game's engine, but they do it in a way that's a bit different from how the game actually runs. In movies, creating a single frame takes a long time because of all the detailed calculations needed for things like lighting and physics. To tackle this, developers render each frame individually, rather than trying to run the entire game in real time. Then they stitch these frames together using editing software to create a smooth video. This way, the trailer you see shows off stunning visuals and impressive effects that actually might not be possible to achieve during real-time gameplay. So when you see a trailer, it's important to know that this footage might not have been running in real time. Instead, it might have been captured frame by frame and then edited to look like smooth gameplay. The game you play might not run as smoothly or look as polished as the trailer, because it was not using all the game's systems at once, or it might not be fully optimized. This was the main reason for the negative reception of Cyberpunk 2077, The Division, and Assassin's Creed Unity. All three trailers, apart from their individual themes and plots, had one thing in common, and it was the showcasing of incredibly detailed visuals and exciting gameplay. CD Projekt Red even went as far as featuring the breathtaking Keanu Reeves to reveal its gameplay footage. Then when the game finally got released, many of the features and graphics didn't match the vertical slice's promises, which led to a big gap between what was being expected and the final product. You see, the entire point of any game trailer, irrespective of the genre, is to show just enough to the audience to help them know what it is, while also keeping them curious as to what more it could be, both at the very same time. I personally think that a big part of this falls to the marketers to present their game more transparently, and making gameplay trailers that have actually something to label as gameplay in them. While we as consumers can at least approach early marketing materials with a critical eye, and after the masterpiece like The Day Before, I think it's time for us to stop letting trailers influence our opinions and start making well-informed choices about these purchases. Well, that's all I wanted to say about these trailers and all. If you want to get more into the bits of what makes a good gameplay trailer and how you can make one, I suggest you check out Derek Liu's channel, who is himself a professional trailer editor. His videos, previous works, and research insights have been a great help in making this video. As of you who are still watching, if you enjoyed the video, kindly drop a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Comment down below and I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Thanks everyone, see you next time.